Hi, welcome to Easy Breezy Math, where the math makes sense. It's not just a bunch of numbers. In this video, what I wanted to do is one of my most powerful, impactful lessons that I ever do in my classroom. We discuss compound interest. Now, Einstein said one of the greatest inventions he's ever seen in his lifetime has been compound interest. And that's Albert Einstein, one of the greatest inventors that we ever have in history. So if he thought it was so good, let's take a reason. Let's take a look at the reasons why. All right. So here I have a little compound interest thing. Now this is $10,000. We're going to do a $10,000 and we're going to look at the interest rate you would gain if you had 10% gains for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and even 40 years. Now, 10% is quite realistic. Let's say, your uncle, you graduate high school or college, your uncle says, hey, that's wonderful. That's $10,000. Or your parents give you a gift, $10,000. You say, hey, you know what? I'm just going to put it in the market. I'm not going to worry about it dropping the S&P 500, and I'm going to sit back and forget I even have it, forget it even exists, right? Okay, that money is going to grow. And again, the last 30 years, we was able to get 11% interest. So let's say if you only got 10%, what would happen to that money? In 10 years, you check your account, you go and you notice, oh, wow, it's grown to $27,169. Okay. That's just after 10 years. All right. You say, okay, great. Let me just leave it in there. Not going to worry about it. Another 10 years and see what happens. You come back 10 years later, you check your account. It is now $73,816. Okay. It's growing. Now remember, you're not adding any money to this. You're not putting in monthly deposits, nothing like that. You just put that same amount of money in there and left it there to watch it grow. Okay. 30 years, you come back. It now belongs to $200,554. Okay. You're not touching this money. This is the great thing about it. It's just growing 30 years all by itself. That's where you're at. And after 40 years, you now have $544,891. Okay. $500,000. That's paying off your house right there. Right here, after 20 years, looks like you had a nice down payment on a house. And then maybe in 30 years, if you were paying on a house, you had enough to just pay that house off. Okay. So that's a lot of things that could happen, or a lot of money growth you can get from just a simple $10,000 investment that you had a long time ago, and the power of compound interest as it grows. Now that's 10%. Let's take a look at another scenario. Let's say you didn't do 10%. What if you were the type that said, hey, you know what? I am going to invest this money, but I'm not going to make any investments. I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to try to make some good investments. I'm going to be wise about it. And I just want to pay attention, get some good stocks, Home Depot, Tesla. You get some good stocks that do some good growth, and you're able to get 12% interest. Now, that's not a lot more. It's only 2% more, but let's watch the growth just from 12% interest. In 10 years, you would have $33,193. That's just after 10 years. Okay. 20 years, it could grow to $110,178. Okay. Made some good investments there. You're just watching your money grow. 30 years, you now have $365,000 at 719. That's a nice house in many states. Not here in California. You might get a half a house with that in some areas, or a quarter of a house with that. But that's still a nice amount of money when you're not putting in monthly payments. You just let the 10,000 grow. All right. Now, after 40 years of just sitting back and letting this money grow, it has now ballooned to $213,938. That's right. $1,213,938. You're now a millionaire. This is not your retirement account. This is an account you forgot about. You have other investments that you've made throughout the years, and this is a side account you didn't even remember that you had. 40 years later, you have that much money in there. That is awesome. That is very powerful, starting from $10,000, right? And again, you're not putting any money in here. What would happen if you decided to say, you know what? I am going to put $1,000 a month in, or that's a lot. Maybe you put in $200 a month, end up with a $2,500 investment every year. and just add to this. It will grow, grow, grow. I'll let you do the math on that. It's a lot of fun to do these types of problems, to see, watch the money grow. Maybe this is not for you. Maybe you set up an account for your child when they're young, 5 years old. You say you're going to put $10,000 in an account for them, put a little bit of money in every month. And by the time they turn about 45 years old, they have a wonderful retirement account with $1.2 million or even more. Okay. I love doing this lesson in my class. I love showing people this. It's mathematical, it's the power of compound interest. Thank you for listening and watching, and we'll see you on the next video. Subscribe, hit the bell. Bye.